Okay, after wrapping up his hugely successful historic trip to Israel, the Prime Minister is in the German city of Hamburg for the G20 Summit. In fact, he spoke a short while back, and now the Prime Minister being greeted by German Chancellor Angela Merkel. As you can see there, the Prime Minister walking up to the German Chancellor, a handshake, a very firm handshake amid smiles. And this is going to be a very important meeting of the heads of state and government who will be discussing some very important issues like climate change, global economy, international trade, etc. The Prime Minister is also expected to hold bilateral meetings with other leaders from Canada, United Kingdom, Japan, Italy, Argentina, South Korea, along with 9 other countries as well. So, warm handshake being exchanged between the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and German Chancellor Angela Merkel. Now, the Ministry of External Affairs has already confirmed that the Prime Minister will not be meeting Chinese President Xi Jinping amid the recent tensions, the border standoff between India and China. The theme for this year's G20 summit is shaping an interconnected world. It will be very interesting to see what is exchanged between the US and Russia, with US President Donald Trump himself tweeting about his impending visit with Russian President Vladimir Putin. But right now we are playing the images there of a cordial handshake between the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and German Chancellor Angela Merkel. Well, the Prime Minister is in fact in Hamburg. Germany is the place where the G20 summit is taking place, and Angela Merkel there, who opened the G20 summit. As I just said, the shape is about the summit. The theme of the summit is about shaping an interconnected world. Terror, global trade, climate change, all of that will be discussed at the G20 summit. Okay, we have with us now Foreign Affairs Editor Geeta Mohan. And Geeta, we're just playing out the visuals of the Indian Prime Minister being greeted by German Chancellor Angela Merkel at a time when all of the leaders will be together and discussing, issues of real importance, whether it is terror, whether it is global trade or economy.
Well, that's right, Avantika. The big breaking news that we're bringing to you right now is the fact that Prime Minister Narendra Modi, ahead of the BRICS summit that is to begin with Angela Merkel, the German Chancellor, having invited him and having greeted him and taken the summit to begin. The fact is that the bigger breaking news right now is with regards the BRICS leaders meeting, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi discussed the reforms that India is indulging in and is involved in the GST bill, so to say. But also, more importantly, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, amidst this close tight-knit group of BRICS leaders, where President Xi Jinping of China was also present, raised the issue of terrorism, spoke about safe havens of terror, very specific to cross-border terrorism. That's the big news we're bringing to you. The big breaking news, Avantika, is that Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in front of the Chinese President Xi Jinping and the other BRICS leaders, spoke about terrorism, raised the issue of terrorism, as also reforms that are absolutely important for the world community to come together and move forward on the economic front, where India has taken a lead. India has taken that initiative with the reforms that Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his administration is involved in.
Very important bit of news, and it's coming at a time when, there has been an increase in tension between China and India amid the standoff between both the nations at the border. And these are the visuals of the US President Donald Trump also meeting with German Chancellor Angela Merkel, and the US President also looking forward to this, to this momentous occasion where a lot of important issues will be discussed. Now, Geeta, coming back to relations between India and China, the meeting between the US President and Vladimir Putin, there's just so much that is being talked about. But one thing is clear, that any bilateral meeting between Xi Jinping and Prime Minister Modi is presently off the table. Is that right?
Well, there is going to be no bilateral meeting, but it is important to know whether if there was an informal conversation. We do not have details of that really having happened or not, Avantika, but the details that we have right now, and if I could just spell it out to our viewers, because this is crucial. At the BRICS leaders meeting, GST will create a unified market, is what Prime Minister Narendra Modi said. He also went ahead and spoke about the impact of the the global situation with the decisions that India is taking. He spoke about protectionism at the BRICS meet. Now, why is protectionism very important, Avantika? Is because it's at the G20 that these leaders, particularly Angela Merkel and the French President, the Canadian Prime Minister and Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be siding on one side against the protectionist behavior of President Donald Trump of the United States of America. So there is going to be, expect stormy sessions at the G20 summit and the plenary sessions, which are to begin very soon. Very importantly, again, another area of something that could lead up to a stormy session at the G20 is climate change, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi has already set the tone and tenor, saying that India will implement climate agreement in letter and in spirit. Again, a very focused speech or statements coming in from the Prime Minister, where he spoke about trade, he spoke about climate change, he spoke about the reforms that have taken place back home for India to be a front runner and an avant-garde, so to say, in economic reforms and moving to a global market. But more importantly and specifically to India, the concerns of terrorism have been raised. Safe havens and cross-border terrorism have been raised.
Right. Gaurav, Geeta, thanks so much for joining us.